you can thrive. I'm Dr. Peter John Stoltzman, pianist, educator, and mentor. My mission has always been to help musicians tap into their unique voice, master the learning process, and experience the joy of music through intention and connection. And now I'm inviting you to join the Inspired Contemporary Pianist community. This is not just another piano course. This is a complete ecosystem designed around you, the creative musician who is craving the joy of learning, craving next level breakthroughs and systematic strategies for optimizing your thinking in practice and performance. I know what a difference it makes to get that clarity and to have a consistent accountability. Let me save you the pain of six-figure debt doing a doctorate like I did. In the Inspired Contemporary Pianist, I hand on to you all the things I have learned through 30 years of professional and academic experience. Whether you're a passionate hobbyist or pursuing music professionally, I'm here to help you grow. Everyone is invited to the Inspired Contemporary Pianist free community. It's a hub where pianists support each other, exchange insights, and build momentum together. You can get access to my online live sessions and a variety of resources for practicing and performing. Within the community, you can explore our academy, featuring a growing library of courses crafted from decades of real-world performing and teaching jazz and commercial piano styles and techniques. Learn voicings, comping, improvisation, rhythm section fluency, and creative arranging all on your schedule. For those who want direct feedback and live interaction, there's the Mastery Group, including individualized feedback on your playing and practicing, monthly live rhythm section sessions, and access to our guest artist masterclasses. And of course, tons of other valuable resources and access to all of the courses. And when you're ready, our studio recording mentorship is the highest level of training, combining performance, composing, arranging, and career-focused coaching, culminating in a recording session at a top professional studio. Join us. Get inspired. Get real results. What's up? Hello, hello, hello. All right. I realize I haven't gone live on Zoom yet. I'm live on YouTube, but not on Zoom. So I'm going to take a quick second and connect to our Zoom link here. Let's go. Here. All right. And I think we are live on Zoom now too. All right, that's good. All right. So today, going to work on voicings, jazz piano, specifically jazz piano voicings, which tend to be born from but different than commercial piano voicings. All right, and this is important to know. And I think I might just start our day by going through kind of an etymology or a morphology of how jazz emerges from commercial pop voicings. So I think we'll start there, and then we'll get into jazz-specific voicings and the different contexts that we're going to have to grapple with as pianists, which is solo piano, duo, or small accompaniment situations. Typically, it would be pianist with a singer or pianist with a saxophone player or something like that. There are chances where pianists can be playing with bass players. Or, of course, as organists, we might actually play bass and play with drums. There are all sorts of variations on those. But for the most part, we're going to face solo piano situations, duo situations, and trio and or combo and larger band situations. So we're going to treat those as three things, which is the solo, the duo, and the band situation, including trios. And we're going to just dig into a few different templates for voicing in those contexts, and explore some of the things that we got to deal with. So let's start today with this. All right, everybody knows this. Good old C major triad, right? If you're trying to learn jazz and you are still uncomfortable playing a major and a minor triad in all 12 keys, I want you to stop and take the hours that it needs, whatever that is for you. Could be 1 hour, could be 10 hours, but go through 12 keys. Maybe you need to spend a half an hour on each key to just get really comfortable with it. And make sure you know your major and your minor triads. Ideally, in all inversions as well. First inversion, second inversion. And then you can play them with your right hand and with your left hand. Okay? This is very important that you can do this in 12 keys. And I want to give you a hint here if you don't know this already, which is the idea of grouping by shape. All right? So if we take the major triad as a shape, in C, we have a white, white, white note group. And we also have that in F. We also have that in G. And this will simplify the shapes. You'll be able to see them as cookie cutters for your fingers. This is something that I start with very early on, almost right away, with any commercial piano student who's working in any of what we would call commercial styles, pop music, songs, etc. And just being able to take this cookie cutter, it's your right hand or your left hand, and feel that, and flip between the similar shapes. There are almost always at least 2, if not 3, keys that share the shape. Almost always. So we have C, F, and G. We have A major. Notice it's no longer a white, white, white shape, right? It's white, black, white. A, D, and E. All right, A, D, and E. Now, if you're looking at this screen thinking, man, I already know all this, I really want to skip to the jazz stuff, you can skip ahead when we're not live. Come back to this video. For now, I think it's really worth taking a few minutes to go through this because the amount of people who've worked with me, gotten in a piano class or a lesson, and wanted to dive into advanced jazz stuff, but can't play triads in 12 keys, it always drives home the point for me that this is super important. And I'm not a big believer in prerequisites, but if you want to be able to get advanced levels of performance and control over your performance, you can't skip this. All right. So check that out. A, D, and E. And notice this is a 1, 4, 5. 1, 4, 5. C, F, and G, A, D, and E. That's because of the way they're situated on the circle, right? As you move around and you add a sharp or you subtract a sharp, you add a flat, subtract a flat, you have similar shapes on the piano. It's not exactly the same. The major scales will have one note here, one note there that are different, but they're similar. And this will allow you, see that? Now the minor triads are white, white, white. Will allow you to get these shapes in your fingers and stop thinking through all the nuts and bolts of every chord as starting on the root and then having to build an interval structure from there. That's the other thing that I see a lot with students who are starting to get into jazz, is that they're still in this mode of constructing chords with stacking intervals, right? So, okay, a major seventh chord is the root, and then a major third, which is 4 half steps, then a minor third, which is 3 half steps, then a major third, which is 4 half steps. So I'm in A flat, so I have to go 1 half step, 2 half steps, 3 half steps, 4 half steps, 1 half step, 2 half steps, 3 half steps, right? And building up like this, and it's excruciating, and there's no way you're going to be able to conquer jazz tunes in anything less than a very uninspiring amount of time, right? Now, you may understand the nuts and bolts, so if you want to do that once or twice for a jazz tune, go through all the chords, understand the interval structure of them, go for it. If it helps you build that underlying nuts and bolts understanding feeling, but this is not a vehicle for actually being able to play chords and interpret charts and to add interpretive freedom and to become creative. You have to actually turn off your frontal cortex as much as possible, which means all that stuff has to get stored in long-term memory. And the way we do that is we connect it, we chunk it, and we connect it to motor, to emotional, and various other types of connections that we can make as we build up our knowledge. All right. So I'm getting you to chunk these shapes as just cookie cutters in your fingers, right? And group them so you get A, D, and E. Then A flat is a black, white, black shape. Feel that. And in your left hand, right? Get your inversions. 1, 4, 5. Look at that. Black, white, black. Black, white, black on D flat. Black, white, black on E flat. Okay, now we've got 9 out of our 12 keys. The other 3 are variations on these. So F sharp or G flat is a black, 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 which is cool. And then B flat is our black, white, white. And B is the white, black, black. And notice how this black, white, white half step up and you get what is almost like a photo negative, right? The black and the white are reversed. Now you have white, black, black. This happens a lot. And I want you to really pay attention to how this feels in your fingers, because it's really different. It's the same interval structure, right? But the feeling in your fingers is totally different. And the way it looks is totally different. So if you're looking at it, or if you're just physicalizing it, whether you have a visual impairment or you want to just close your eyes and really know how this feels, right? You don't have to look at it to feel it physically and feel the shape, right? This photonegative aspect is fun to become aware of because you'll see it a lot. Let's go to like D. White, black, white. Up a half step, black, white, black, right? Etc. It's not in every case, but it's in a lot of them. F, up a half step, white, white, white becomes black, black, black. All right. So this is a trick to the piano. We've spent, I've been here for 15 minutes now. Let's see, like 3 or 4 of that was on the intro. So we spent a little over 10 minutes on that. I'm going to leave it there. If you have questions, if you're like, man, I really actually need to just start there, you should check out my Commercial Piano 1 course. All right. Or if that's like, wow, that would be a good review for me to do, and then get into some of the more commercial and popular music, comping and harmonic structure as well, maybe my Commercial Piano 2. All right. Shameless advertising. Let's go forward. We've got, let's go back to C major, and let's look at 7th chords. Now, you can build your 7 on top, right? But the way oftentimes the sophisticated pros do it is they actually drop the root down to the 7. Because the 7, if you notice, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 is the note right below the root. So we can go like this and get a really nice sounding resonant major 7. And we can just call this 735, like an area code, 735. And you can play all your 7th chord types in this inversion. This is a great, or in this voicing. 735. Dominant has a flat 7, major 3rd. Minor 7, flat 7 and a minor 3rd. Minor 7, flat 5, aka half diminished. Minor 7, minor 3rd, and minor 5th, or flatted 5th. Right? We can get all the variations in here, really. We can even get our diminished 7 with a double flatted 7. Minor 3rd, minor 5th, or flat 5th. We can have our 6 chords, 6, 3, 5 here. All right. Back to the 7, we can also add the 9 in here. 7, 9, 3, 5. And yes, the 9 is the same as the 2. Right? And now we're on Stevie Wonder territory. Right? 7, 9, 3, 5. Notice I'm doing this all with my right hand playing the chord, left hand playing bass, because I'm in pop music, commercial music zone. But also, contextually, this is like a duo or solo piano kind of technique, template. Right? What you also want to be able to do, if you're doing this for jazz, is everything with your left hand. In the same place that you're doing it with the right hand. Don't bring your left hand here because it fits down here, or because it just falls down there. Don't do that. That's too low. Almost all good voicings with the left hand will fall between an octave above and an octave below middle C. So if you're down here, this is like going over the borderline. Now some of that depends on the wideness, the width of the interval, okay? These are short intervals, right? A third, a second, and a third. So they're gonna be much crunchier. The lower you go, it's gonna be less resonant. Up here, it's really nice. Okay. This has also been referred to as an X voicing in jazz terminology. And then its inversion, 3, 5, 7, 9, as the Y voicing. And this one can be played here for a nice meaty mid-range, up here for a higher variation, here for the X or 7-9-3-5 voicing. 3-5-7-9, 7-9-3-5. So you can see how immediately, just by bringing the left hand up here and playing these a little bit more sophisticated commercial voicings, we've instantly transferred into jazz, right? So we've gone from major triad, drop the thumb to the 7, 7-3-5, then 7-9-3-5 to make it a little bit jazzier, a little more soul, and then left hand here, and all of a sudden you're in jazz land. 7-9-3-5 or 3-5-7-9. Okay, now those are your standard left hand voicings. Now let's go back to this for a minute and think about if the left hand was going to cover most of the harmony because you wanted to have your right hand free, but you still want the root in there. So that would be in a duo context or a solo context. This is when you want shells with a root. So 1-7. If you have 1-7 in your left hand, and you have 3-5 in your right hand, let's say, or the 2-3-5, 9-3-5, then you've got these fingers open and available to play melodies, right, or extend the voicing into other territory like that. And to create interesting inner voice stuff as you get more advanced. But just a solid 1-7 shell will take you so far, it's almost silly. Dominant 7. Minor 7. Still 1-7. Sixes. Major 6. 1-6 in the left hand, that's it. Minor 6. Right? That's the gist of it right there. Now, what we can also do to fill out that harmony a little bit more in the left hand is 1-3-7 or 1-3-6. So if we're playing a jazz tune and we got to play solo or we're playing duo with somebody and we want to comp for ourselves, let's say for a solo or even for a melody, and we're not trying to get into stride piano and complex techniques yet, we can just be right here. 1-3-7. Don't play the 5. By not playing the 5, you open up the resonance of this voicing. You have a third and then a fifth. When you play the 5, you close off and constrain the resonance. And it just sounds more basic, kind of pedestrian. Look how easy that is in the left hand. All right, on 2 5s, we go from 1-3-7. All we do is drop the 7 down a half step, drop the sizzle down a hizzle, and then we get a major 7. We can also have a major 6, like that. Nobody's going to complain about this, right? Etc. Okay. So, solo, duo, rooted shells. Right, 1-7 or 1-3-7 in the left hand. Count on it. It's great. Also, these extend. Rooted shells, 1-7s, 1-3-7s, extend into playing. Very complicated stuff as you expand your voicings like this. Right? Like, you know, really advanced jazz stuff. And they can even be used in, you know, trio settings and band settings when you're comping. Depending on if you want to go for a little bit of kind of a Monk, Duke Ellington, Bud Powell style, right? Those cats use a lot of shells with roots while they're soloing in, you know, bebop and kind of relatively modern jazz context. So, you know, you might be right? 1-6 shell is great for a tune like that. Well, you needn't. And soloing over it. Etc. Right? There's so much creativity that just allows your brain the space. Right? Keep your left hand simple, keep it consistent, or like in the pocket. That's what I mean. It doesn't have to be exactly consistent. Depends on the context. And you can really open up the space for your brain and your creativity to go with your right hand as the lead for those things. All right, so I'm a big advocate for rooted shells and for actually starting there. All right, this is great. Get your 7-3-5s, get 7-9-3-5. Okay, take it through 12 keys, do multiple chord types. I got PDFs and all of that for you in my group if you want to join. But even just shells, well-placed shells, man, go a long way. Blues too, right? All right, now, if you got big old left hands like I do, you can grab, instead of 1-3-7, 1-7-3. And this brings us into the world of stride, which is important for solo piano playing in particular. So if you can do this all at once, great. If not, don't worry about it. You can go like this, boom, chunk, right? And you can treat it like a 1-3-7 or a 1-7-3. There's a nice exercise like this to go around the circle and alternate between 1-3-7 and 1-7-3. And you can change it up. 1-7-3, 1-3-7, 1-7-3, 1-3-7, 1-7-3, 1-3-7. Sorry, 1-7-3, 1-3-7, 7-3, 1-3-7. Come back. Okay. These guys or these guys. Boom, boom. Right? And if you can't reach that whole thing, don't worry about it. Just boom, boom. But have this kind of ready to rock. You can go chromatic as well. And work on this. All right. Now, stride piano's hard, right? I'm not going to, and I'm not really the cat to teach you super advanced stride piano. You know who's that cat? My buddy Emmett Cohen. But what I'm going to show you is just the basic idea of when you're playing solo piano, if you want to actually create more movement, you need to get away from just a single structure like this, right, in your left hand, and get it moving. So, separating out your bass note from the rest of your chord, whether that's a simple shell like 3-7, or a more advanced voicing like a 3-5-7-9, or a 7-9-3-5, right? All of those are cool. I like the 3-7-9 variation, by the way, without the 5. I'm just not a big fan of playing that 5 in a standard voicing. Sometimes you want it, but a lot of the time it's just kind of taking up auditory space and clogging up the resonance. If you want a little more crunchiness, try substituting the 6 instead of the 5. Right? Then you get these voicings. So this becomes an important practice now. We have, and you can just start it right here and just get used to separating the bass note from the chord. And we can do that in time. Boom, 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 boom. We could go boom, 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 boom also. Right? Or boom, 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 boom. You can experiment. For real stride, you want to get really good at the alternating and then be able to switch it up. So let's just do an exercise right here, which is a good one, which is to go 1-5 in the bass. So we're going to go like this. Same chord. And notice I've changed my fingering now. Instead of this middle finger here, I'm using my index finger. But if I was just playing 1-3-7, I'm probably using my middle finger. It just fits well there. So these are some of the details that you're going to have to grapple with as you practice. And this is why we have to practice. You just can't avoid it. You can get all the tips and tricks you want, but you got to shed. There's the 5. And we can go around the circle. We can go through a tune. We can go chromatic. Let's try both. Chromatic and the circle. And now I'm getting low. Right? This is really low. Notice, here's the octave below middle C. Remember what I said? Most voicings fall within this. And you can hear it. But because I'm separating it, and it's a wide interval, right? This is a fifth, or it's a tritone actually. It still like kind of works, but we're pushing it, right? So right here, I'm thinking, I gotta get up. Yeah. Think about it, move. Let's go around the circle now. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I messed it up, sorry. My eyes. Ah, shit. I haven't done this practice. D flat is the 5 of G flat. I should be able to do this easily, but my brain's having a fart. And this is actually a good chance for me to show you how I would practice this, right? And how I would approach this when I make a mistake, and when I realize, like, oh my God, this is a technique I haven't practiced. Not that I can't tell you what a D flat 7 and a G flat 7, blah, blah, blah. But it's one thing to have what we call declarative knowledge, right? To be able to say it. It's another thing to have procedural knowledge, to actually have it in your fingers. Right? And to feel that, oops, my pinky doesn't want to go to D flat as the 5. And my brain has to connect it and say, like, right here, go to D flat, man. That's a 5 of G flat. Now, when I was on D flat, when I was on A flat, really, right? I got a little tripped up with which direction I was going too, right? Which added to the mental, like, shut off for a second, right? If you don't have everything totally retrievable, stored well, and you're using your frontal cortex, which I was doing, right? As I got to the keys that are a little less common, I'm like, and then where am I going with this? And I haven't done this practice, and I'm flipping my hand around, right? So understanding your brain and how to program yourself with practice effectively is not an exercise in, like, being a dick to yourself. It's really not. It's actually very compassionate, because you understand why your brain is doing what it's doing and directing your hands. It's not that you are like some kind of idiot who, messes up all the easy stuff. That's not it. It's just that this is how our brains work, and we have all these different aspects of our brains, right? Where we connect specific types of kind of iconography to concepts, where we connect our visual and our motor and our emotional, how our brains work when they're thinking ahead versus focused in the present versus thinking back. And all of these things are at play at all times, right? But as we, when we're developing complex motor skills like this, that also correlate to complex theoretical knowledge, we really have to slow down sometimes and catch it, put it into the fingers, but also put it into the theory brain. This is D flat 7. D flat is the 5 of G flat. And feel what that feels like to go. And maybe we need to do it 8 times, repeated, in order to really store it. So if I go back, let's say to B flat, where I'm comfortable, right? Immediately hit a rung note. Let's go, I forget if I was going once or twice. Let's go twice on each chord. Just give ourselves that tiny bit extra to think. B flat, think about it, E flat, right? Think about it, A flat. Whoops. Think about it, D flat. Think about it, G flat. Here we go. There it is. B. Think about it, E. That's too low. I'm going to go up for E. So B, up to E, down to A, up to D. I keep jumping down to the 4 by accident. My pinky's not measuring right. Okay, so that's kind of a fast stride, right? We also have a slow stride exercise where we can go boom, boom. This is a really good technique to get comfortable with. Boom, boom. And then grab a nice voicing. All right. Boom, boom. Boom, boom. You got to go through and get comfy with these. All right, so that's 2 stride variations that you can practice. If you have those 2, you can basically play whatever you want in a solo piano style. Now, there's lots and lots and lots more to get in there, right? But this is an intro to the Jazz Piano Player's Toolkit with Jazz Piano Voicings, right? And in terms of being accessible for everybody, that's a really important place to start. Now, based on the last, where are we at? 30 minutes, okay? We've got all the tools we need to play effectively solo, duo, or trio, or in a band. Okay, and I'm just going to review those for you. Rooted shells. 1-7, 1-6, 1-3-7, 1-3-6. For majors, for dominants, for minors, right? Even for diminished. Okay. This can be for solo, duo, or trio and band, right? And that's why these are indispensable. I think rooted shells are super important. Also, they use the root. So when you see, if you're relatively new to this and you get a chart in front of you and you see, oh, we're going B flat 7, E flat 7, E diminished to F minor, and all this stuff, right? You don't have to do a lot of calculating. Just get your pinky on the root, B flat. Right? 1-3-7. Okay. E flat. Right? E diminished. And you just keep going from there without having to do a ton of calculating and measuring and all of these things. Okay. This opens up your right hand for all sorts of possibilities of comping and melody playing, because with the shell, your left hand's taking care of the harmony. Now, also, I would be remiss to not say you can spread these shells out, right? Just to review, you can spread these shells out like this. It's really nice for 2/5s. So just get something like that. You can get like that, and spread out for your 2/5s, etc. Okay. 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 Let's keep going. I was going to add the right hand. if we want to do two-handed comping, if we're in accompaniment. I don't know why I keep going back to Take the A Train, but it's just a good one to go through some basic things and to have like a little variation, like a dominant 7 with a flat 5. All right, so the right hand can get into two-hand comping really easily, right? We can also extend into more advanced techniques. As I mentioned before, we can go into some of those later in another session where I'm going to get into more advanced variations. So let's see. Stride, yeah, two-hand spread. So let's go back to stride and jump a little bit ahead into modern, and then let's go after that to the left-hand voicings like this, and jump ahead just a little bit, extending that into more modern variations and strategies as well. So, stride, but boom. I mentioned this as important than getting your left-hand voicing. Now, what that allows you to do is open up a right-hand voicing as well, and that could be something like this over, where it's a power chord on the root or on just another chord tone. It could also be a chordal extension. So let's say we're playing C7 like this, 7, 3, 5, except the 6 instead of the 5. This is a typical kind of dominant 7/13 voicing. We could go like this, right? We could also go like this. And then we have all fourths. Once we have all fourths, we can jump ahead into very complex modern practice, like going through the scale with chordal voicings. Once we have an extended voicing like this, and we have 13 and the 9 and the 5, we can do all sorts of things with alterations. So let's say we wanted a flat 9. Woo! Let's say we wanted a flat 5. Woo! I love that voicing. I really love it in F2, like here. Woo! Oops. Alright. How about a flat 13 as well? Woof, man. Sharp 9? Woof. That's pretty thick. Alright. If we were here and we wanted to do quartal, it doesn't work as well with this guy here. It doesn't work as well in that position. It works really well in this position. Also, the right hand could become upper structure triads. So this could be D major triad. Same voicing in the left hand. Or we could do altered upper structure triads. A flat, G flat. Notice I move my left hand thumb here. As we practice this, if we keep this boom, bop, right? But doom, chord. We start to set up this habit of the left hand being able to reach down, grab a chord. If we've already done this practice going through, then we're adding the right hand. However it is we want to add it, upper structure triad, quartal, just power chord, codify it, say I'm going to practice this voicing, take it through 12 keys. This is probably too high. Notice how this one crosses the threshold of the octave above. You know, like sometimes pianists have done that. Monk liked to play voicings up high, but you know, he's Thelonious Monk. So if you're not doing it exactly the way he did, enough said. So this is probably a better place for that F7 voicing. Etc., etc. Let's keep going. Don't think out, Peter. All right. It's really good to practice. It's always good to practice. No matter how experienced you think you are, just go through things and be like, do I really have that? Do I still have that? You know, I may have practiced that, whatever, 28 years ago. Do I still have that in 12 keys? Like, really easy? Maybe, maybe not, right? Can I put variations on it? Can I do an upper structure triad here? Right? Like this. That's too low, but it's all right. Up. I went for 3-7-9, which is fine in real life, right? In a performance. But in practice, I'm trying to keep exactly the same voicing. So I'm going to stop myself, make sure I got it. Let's say A. D is a tricky one with the 7-3-13 voicing, because this one's like almost too low and this one's almost too high. And so my typical go-to on a D is a 3-7-9, somewhere in this realm. It's totally cool. It's doable. It's just right on the edge. And there. It's like right on the edge of getting a little high. So, yeah. Okay, cool. I hope you're getting the idea also as we go through this of how to practice, right? 12 keys, 12 keys, 12 keys. You got to do it. If 12 keys is overwhelming, it's okay. Don't freak out. Do 3, right? Or 4. You can also do your practice by the shape groups. So for one day, just do C, F, and G, right? Maybe, let's say we're practicing this with the altered upper structure triad of A flat over C, the flat 6 major over the dominant, altered dominant. So let's see how that relates to this shape, right? Black, white, black, 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 white. It's probably not going to be consistent completely through all 3 of these keys. This is a complex chord. But let's go to F. It's the same. Black, white, black, 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 white. And then G, not quite. G is white, white, black, 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 white. But that's it. That's the only difference. This is too low. I can't, my ears can't even unravel like what that's supposed to be unless I do a very stealthy resolution of that tension, right? Then you can start to maybe unravel it. Where's this note want to go though? Maybe if I do that. Da, da, and then that could be cool. All right. So let's see. Now, I want to address some of the factors that you're going to have to face when you change from solo to duo or duo to trio or in a band. Namely, playing the melody versus supporting the melody. This really should be its own deep dive video. So I think I'm going to make a note of that and we'll make a deep dive video. But let me just say a couple of things right off the bat. One is that when somebody else is playing the melody, you need to not fight it, okay? Don't fight their melody. And that means that if the melody, let's say, is, let's say we're playing Take the A Train. Since I've done it a bunch. Let's say you've got the power chord shape in the right hand and 1, 3, 6 shell in the left hand. That is going to support the melody because I'm playing the main notes. Alright. But if you were like, well, I'm a fancy jazz guy, I'm going to play a D major upper structure triad over C because I'm cool, right? And you went like this. Ba. And then you're creating this fight against the melody. Now, I'm not saying you couldn't get creative in an arrangement and make that happen. Ba, bida, ba, bida. Maybe. Right? There's a variety of possible things you could do. Or like this. Maybe you have the melody down here. Ba, maybe some advanced modern kind of arrangement. That's cool. But in general, you need to support, not fight the melody. And the melody here, right, is this. So don't put a 5 in your chord. And give the melody a fight like that. Don't do it. Don't be like, hey, I'm putting the... This is a great D7. There's nothing wrong with that D7 except the melody's there. Right? Okay, so don't fight the melody. And then you can respond to the melody, right? Without parroting it. And this is an important, subtle piece here. And you have to find the very sweet spot if you're going to be in a call and response kind of strategy. That one, you don't parrot, and two, you don't overstep. You don't create your own melody or distract and sound almost like you're soloing over the melody, right? Which you never want to do, except maybe in some kind of Dixie situation where everybody's kind of jamming and at a point. All right, so let's say right? You might do a little fill, but not a solo, right? So this is where nuance, taste, and listening also comes into play. You know, maybe you go like tap tap ba ba de ba, which is, you know, ba ba da ba da. That would be kind of like a quote from a Duke arrangement. Right? All right. That's the beginning of the talk about the melody. Very important not to fight the melody, also not to parrot it, and not to sound like you're playing your own melody if you're filling too much, or you're taking a solo inappropriately. And then also, if you're playing in a duo context, like especially with the singer, but any duo context with your other instrument is lead and playing melody, you may want to play the melody with them at times, but you got to be real careful about it. It's a danger zone because the lead has the license to creatively interpret. And you don't want to play this like standard melody and then be fighting your lead instrument, whether that's a voice or another instrument, because they're interpreting it more loosely. So be very careful with that. We can do sessions on specifically accompanying singers and the different things that may come up in that, but we're not going to do that right now. All right, there's more to say about chords, substitutions, the rhythm, harmonic rhythm, when you do substitutions and add tension and release, leading chords, etc. There's more to talk about in terms of fills, but what I just said is actually really, really important. And there's more to talk about in terms of inner voices, and then in terms of modern voicings. So I just barely touched on a few possibilities of modern voicings, right? But when we get into quartals, there are those possibilities that start to open up, and the different ways to interpret that as you go up and down in a scale. Lots of different possibilities. And then not just quartals, but also clusters that you can put on top of things, or substitute. So, you know, it doesn't always have to be something obvious like this. Sometimes you might want to just do that, or just do that, or do that, or this, or this, or this, or this, or this, or this. All of these different possibilities open up when you give yourself the license to comp with clusters. And then when you start to expand your skill set from this is a voicing for this chord versus this is the harmonic and melodic landscape that I have. Excuse me. Like the mode that I'm playing in. I talked about this a little bit last session with clusters and textures. And so we'll go back to that and we'll explore it in terms of these different contexts of solo, duo, and trio/band. And we can get into some in-depth also of how to practice these things. All right, y'all. For now, I'm going to call it a day, and I hope that music is helping you stay sane and positive about life in the midst of pretty tough times here in the world. All right, take care.